Hello, thank you for joining us today for Force Protection with ArcGIS Mission. My name is Noelle Loughran, and I'm part of Esri's National Government team. Within the next hour, we'll introduce you to ArcGIS Mission, show you some use cases, ask a few polling questions, and at the end, we'll be happy to answer your questions. Now, I'd like to introduce you to our speakers, Darren Pustum and Max Ozenberger. Darren, I'm going to pass the controls over to you.
Thanks, Noel. Go. Hello, and welcome to the National Government webinar on how to improve force protection workflows with ArcGIS Mission. And thanks again for the introduction, Noel. My name is Darren Pustum, and I'm a product manager here at Esri. I focus on products for collaboration, situational awareness, and evidence-based decision-making, like the one you're going to see today, ArcGIS Mission. And presenting with me is my colleague, solution engineer Max Ozenberger, who will be taking us through the mission experience. Now, during this session today, you will learn about some new software from Esri that can be used to raise the level of situational awareness for your missions, giving you control to organize and manage your teams and resources when responding to planned events or mitigating unplanned circumstances. You'll see how team members can coordinate activities and keep track of each other while they're in the field, and how these activities can be shared back with leaders at a remote location, such as in a fusion center or an incident command, and how these activities and detailed movements of forces are securely stored as a system of record in ArcGIS. But first, let's take a quick look at what Mission is, where it can be deployed, some of the challenges faced by agencies like yourselves today, and how Mission can address these needs. At the end of the session, Max and I will be here to take some of the questions. So let's get started. ArcGIS Mission was launched just about the time of the lockdowns last year and became available at Enterprise 10.8. It is by definition an all-inclusive command and control software that streamlines operations while providing teams with situational awareness at the tactical level. Max will show you shortly how simple it is to define an area of interest, map tactical resource assignments, and quickly share this information out to your teams. The thing you will notice most of all about Mission is that as the situation evolves, Mission members get real-time updates to inform them of the impending situations and keep an eye on everyone engaged and always locked in.
Darren, if you don't mind, I'm going to launch our first polling question at this point. So
Sure.
Everyone should see a question open up on their screen. So please feel free to select the answer that makes sense for you. We would like to know, are you able to push real-time updates to maps and documents to teams in the field? And we will give you a few moments to select. All right, and we thank you so much for sharing those details with us. You can see the results on the screen, so it looks like a majority of you are able to do so. So thank you again for that, and Darren, we will go back to you.
Great, thank you. So there are three components to ArcGIS Mission: a licensed web app called the Mission Manager, Responder, a free mobile app available in Android and iOS, the Mission Server, which is a new licensed server within ArcGIS Enterprise. I'll talk a little bit more in detail about them. So Mission Manager is really that single pane of glass view, the one that allows you to create, conduct, and perform mission analysis throughout the life cycle of the mission. So somebody you would think of that would use it as a mission manager, you can do things like creating a mission map and setting the context for the mission, organize personnel into teams, provide additional materials like documents and photos, and assigning tasking and reporting, and create a mission dashboard for an executive view of operations. So basically at this level, a mission manager, you're overseeing field activity, communicating with and updating all team members, inclusive of your leadership. And when a team member leaves an office and goes out into operations in the field, they'll download and carry with them on their iPhone or their Android devices the Mission Responder app. With Mission Responder, teams in the field can chat with text or send geographic messages with spatially referenced locations. They could carry out tasks and fill out reports, and also engage with other team members. They can also view feeds of activities taking place throughout the mission. The mobile app also enables responders to interact with map tools such as layers and bookmarks that we're all familiar with, and do measurements, view details of the mission, and access additional materials pushed from the command center, such as any relevant documents and so on. This includes updates to the mission map as well. And the glue that really holds this together is, and central to all the communication and collaboration, is new technology within ArcGIS called a mission server. Now, its main purpose is to facilitate that communication between mission manager and the mission responder users in the field. So it has functions like organizing the presence and availability of everyone on the team, populating the location of mission responders onto the mission maps, forwarding messages between the manager and responder, and also, which is very important, is transferring all that data to long-term storage. Now, missions can be developed wherever there's a need for a command and control, and personnel need to leave and perform operations in the field. And they want to be able to communicate back to the command center and each other as well, which is very common in military and defense space, but also in public safety agencies where they respond to planned and unplanned events, and in commercial and utility companies that provide security for their facilities and their corporate events. Even natural resource agencies that handle emergency response, they secure assets and their resources, and transportation organizations where they monitor transportation hubs and facilities. And even today in health and human services that support coordinated responses due to pandemics and other health crises.
All right, and that's the perfect pause right there for our second polling question. So again, you're going to have the question pop up on your screen. Please select whichever answer makes sense for you. And this time we'd like to know, do teams work in challenging environments with little or no network connections? And again, we'll give you a few moments to answer. Well, this is a fun one. Overwhelmingly, sounds like many of you have teams that are working environments with little or no network connections. We'll send this back to Darren. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, so these organizations that we just spoke about face a series of common challenges, and we're seeing firsthand today the global escalation of public safety and security concerns. And one of the key issues that we've heard from you, especially during the coordination of response, is not being able to have persistent communication with your teams. When teams leave their station and they go out into areas where they're on again, off again network connectivity and communication and the collaboration becomes really challenging, and not being able to see where teams are and warn them maybe of rapidly changing situations, and not being able to provide that real-time updates to your teams, right? Typically data is loaded on your phone and that's all you have for the mission. So when folks go out in the field, they just get stranded with dated information that's probably loaded on a SIM card that they had from the office. And sometimes, and I've seen this many times in my career, and a distinct challenge faced even today is not in having the ability to store all of these activities. This is valuable organizational information that can be used for accountability, to help in making informed decisions, and even for insurance purposes or funding, for example, but all in efforts to improve your mission. And with so many tasks and teams to coordinate during these really time-sensitive events, need for one system to streamline these workflows to help relieve some of that financial as well as technological challenges that come along with managing multiple apps and systems. So how does Mission work? Mission effectively tackles command and control by organizing people, resources, and operational information into a consolidated picture. The single pane of glass that I spoke about that facilitates core planning requirements to get your operation running in as little time as possible. Whether you're planning for an upcoming event, working a day-to-day event, or you need to quickly transition from day-to-day operations to an unplanned incident. Your mission analyst, your manager, operator, whoever that is at your command center can essentially create and manage this mission by assigning the data and content required for the mission, establishing communication with their mobile users, and setting up a dashboard for an all-inclusive view of operations. And when it comes to the execution of these events, team members get assigned tasks, keep track of teammates, and report on activities. Through the software, you can gather and share time-critical information, perform assessments, create real-time information products required to support operations. And if you transition out in the field, those field teams will be able to see where their teammates are and communicate with them, share geographic context of what's happening around them. Mission not only creates a bridge between the command center and responders, but utilizes a peer-to-peer capabilities for disconnected teams in the field. And this way, Mission really complements and extends existing radio and communication channels. And to complete this workflow, Mission enables users to conduct temporal analysis, to understand patterns, even while the mission is active. Let's say you want to go back in an hour to review activity to see what took place, and at the completion of a mission to conduct after-action reports that are useful, of course, for training and future planning. So what does all this mean for you? Well, here's where the value lies, really. It's using one solution to pre-plan operations, to assign tactical resources, share information, communicate with team members. And it also means that you're able to visualize where your personnel are at all times and coordinate movement around teams based on these real-time events and activities. It means having persistent communication and enabling your teams to share their location and their tracks and messages and reports for stronger collaboration in these disconnected environments. And just being a part of the ArcGIS ecosystem, you're able to leverage all this mission data to gain insights, increase transparency, and just build trust within your team.
And we're going to take this pause to launch another poll. And this time, we would like to know, are you able to capture and store all activity in the field for later analysis and review? Again, we'll give you a few moments to respond. All right, I'm going to close this poll and share the results. So it looks like a majority of you cannot capture and store activity in the field for later analysis and review. And from here, we're actually going to go ahead and hear from Max now, and he's going to show us some case studies or use cases for this. So Max, it's all yours.
Awesome. Thanks, Noel. Let me get my screen shared. All right. So yeah, thank you. So I want to take you through a mission experience. And here in Northern Virginia, we had a very important VIP come in that needed to be escorted to nearby Fort Myer. So I actually wanted to show you all what that looks like playing out in ArcGIS Mission. But before we get into the actual mission manager and mission responder applications, let me show you where this data sits in an ArcGIS Enterprise. So here's an ArcGIS Enterprise that I have access to. You can see that I'm logged in on the top right. And the first thing that I'm going to do is go to my content. Here under my content, I have several layers and a web map already set up. This web map is going to be the base that we use for everything that we're going to do inside of ArcGIS Mission. You can see that I have already included a route that I generated with that starting point on the south and going up to Fort Myer and DoD installation boundaries. I could add any other content or data into this map as well for my organization. Going back home though, let's go to the application launcher and we're going to go straight to this mission manager. This will bring us to the mission manager homepage where we can either create a new mission or view the mission list where we can see all of the missions that we're a part of. Here you can see that I've already set up a mission for our VIP escort. So going into that, this is the real core of Mission Manager. On the top left, you'll see that my mission status is currently set to active. That means that responders can actually log into this mission and participate. Over here in the middle, we have our mission time set to live. So we're looking at a live feed of data coming into this mission right now. We could also change this to look at past data up to a month ago and see all of that data. Over on the left, we have all the members for our mission. So we can see that Andrew King is currently logged in via Mission Responder, and I'm logged in via Mission Manager. We also have team members that have either never connected or are disconnected. Disconnected means that they've been here at some point, but are no longer logged in. Never connected means they've never logged in at all. So I might email them, make sure they can access the mission. Below that, we have different teams that we've set up. So for this mission, I've set up an emergency response team, an escort team, and Fort Myers security. I can see the members by hovering over this person icon for each of the individual teams, or I could see the team's last known location by clicking on this. I'll show you that a bit later. But organizing these teams allows me to quickly select these people, and I'll show you throughout this presentation how to do that. But for now, I want to tweak my map a little bit. So here on the map side of things, I have a base map gallery. So I can quickly switch that out. Maybe I'm doing this in the night, so I want a nice nighttime view with a dark gray canvas, or I could switch over to imagery to get more information about where I'm going to be driving through. But for now, honestly, I think the navigation one's a little better, so we'll stick with that. Below that, we have layers. These are the same layers we were looking at in the web map on the portal, but also layers that Mission throws in here, like geo-messages and tasks and tracks. Below that, we have bookmarks. So these bookmarks are something that we set up in the web map. I could quickly go out to a CONUS view and see that one of my team members, Scott Cecilio, is actually way out in North Dakota. So I don't think he's going to be taking part in this mission, and that's okay. And then we can use a bookmark to go straight back to our mission route. The next thing I want to show you actually is our mobile responder application on my phone. So here you can see me logged in via my phone, and it's got that same exact web map that we see in Mission Manager. We even have some of the same map options where I can go to my member extent. I can look at the layers that are included in the web map and turn those on and off. I can even tap on one of them and it'll bring me to the extent of that layer. Or I could go to the legend and see what the symbology of that layer actually represents. Basically, Mission Responder is looking at the same exact data, so this web map is going to be a one-to-one copy of what you're seeing in Mission Manager. But for now, I want to show you actually my profile. And from here, we can change a few settings, like our location settings, where we can see how quickly we're responding to a server or peer-to-peer. Then we have background messages, which are the push notifications that you'll get through your phone. And I can even see how I'm connected currently. So I'm active and connected currently, but I could be peer-to-peer inactive or inactive or disconnected. That peer-to-peer functionality is really key if you're working in an environment that is disconnected or has limited connectivity. And then lastly, you can see that I'm logged in with that same account that I was using on the portal, since all of this is portal-based. So I see that one of my team members, Chris Lee, is currently logged in. So I want to start a chat session with him. So these chat sessions, you can see here, I can just kind of text any of these teams or mission members directly from the Responder application. I don't have to go searching for their phone numbers or anything like that. They're all right here. So I'm going to send Chris real quick a comms check just to make sure that he can actually access these messages and that he's getting push notifications for them. You're going to notice right off the bat that this looks very similar to text messaging. But there's a huge difference between this and text messaging, and that's that it's not going through any cellular tower or anything like that. It is going through our mission server. So you can see that same exact text message show up on our Mission Manager side because we're accessing it through that server. Back on the Responder application, I'd mentioned push notifications. So here, when Chris messages me back, I'm going to get a push notification that says copy, and almost instantaneously back on Manager, you see that same message pop up there. So this is just some simple messaging back and forth, but it shows the power of these two platforms interconnected and running both through that mission server component. So we're getting a little closer to our actual mission execution time. I can see once again that Chris is located around our route. I can see that I'm located near the route start, and well, Scott's still way out there in North Dakota, so I don't have to worry about him too much. But these locations are really powerful because it's the real location being fed from Mission Responder. So these are the real location of where we're at. Zooming into our start location, you can once again see that I'm right here. And we have a task set up to escort our VIP to Fort Myers. So opening up those tasks, we can see that we have a description, we have a high priority for this and a due date, but I've actually picked up my VIP, so I'm going to change this from assigned to in progress and save it. Instantly, you'll notice the symbology change, and you'll also see if we hover over it, it says in progress now. All of this at the end of the day is just GIS. So if we click on it, you'll see that normal kind of attribute view that you might be used to. So because this is GIS, we can use it all across our platform. The last thing that I need to do before we head out on our mission is to let everyone else know that I've actually picked up this VIP. So I'm going to, from Mission Manager this time, just send a chat message to our entire emergency response and escort team to let them know that the VIP has been picked up and we're en route. Everybody that's a part of that team is now going to get a push notification to let them know that, hey, we're starting the mission. So here we are actually moving now. And you can see both in Mission Manager and in Mission Responder that our locations are moving. On my phone, I'm giving in that GPS data, and it's giving me near real-time information on where I'm located. And then you can see Andrew King, who's with me on the escort team, just trailing behind. His location's updating a little bit slower, but it's still all going through that mission server. And then on the mission manager side, I'm locked onto Andrew's position, so the extent of the map is keeping up with him. I want to make sure that I'm focused on him since the VIP is in his car. But what if I wanted to know where other people on my team are? Well, I could just zoom out a little bit and pan around and try to find them. Since we have real locations feeding into this map, I'll actually see the real location. So I can see that some of them are around our route right there. Or I could just use their location, their last known location, like we've seen before. But I could also just look at a whole team down here. So looking at the escort team, we can see that Andrew and I are right next to each other, which is where we're supposed to be. And then our emergency response team is spread out around our route. This is perfect for now. This is exactly what I wanted as the mission organizer. But no longer do I say that, then for some reason, Andrew goes off course. Obviously, I told them to stay on course, stay on that route that I put on the map. So as a mission organizer, this has me concerned. And thankfully, we've set up an emergency response team to hopefully respond to what's happening here. So we've gone off course, and we can see that some of our emergency response team has actually seen that in their application, and they're starting to zero in on our location. Since we have that live feed of data, they can respond on their own, but as the mission organizer, once again, it's my responsibility to actually send them data and information about what's happening. So we've stopped at that location, and we're going to create a geo message to let them know the location and what's going on. So a geo message is basic GIS that we can put on this map that'll go through and have a message attached to it. So we'll let them know that in this red circle buffer that we're off course, and I need this emergency response team to investigate. So we'll send that to the whole team and send that out. This GIS is going to pop up in both Mission Manager, obviously, but also in the Mission Responder application itself. And it's really powerful for letting people know what's going on with the geospatial component. So back in the responder, you can see that same exact GIS in there, but I could also click on it and see the information that we put in there. I could even respond directly from this. And we can see that our emergency response team is really starting to zero in now that I've given them that information. At the end of the day, though, all that really happened is the VIP wanted to stop to get some food. So, there's nothing we can do about that. We had to follow VIP orders. So there was no big deal. But now we're going to move into the after action phase of our mission here. So the first thing we're going to do is clean up our map where we have this geo message, but we don't need it anymore. We figured out why we went off course. It was just to get some food. So we'll go ahead and cache this geo message. What this means is that it's going to take it off the map, as you can see, but it's still sitting on our mission server. It's just no longer displaying in our web map. And then we have the task that we edited earlier where we set it to in progress, but we finished this task. We completed the escort to Fort Myer. So we'll go in here, edit it one more time, and set it from in progress to completed. And once again, when I save this, you're going to see the symbology on the map change because this is attribute-driven GIS at the end of the day. If we hover over it, we'll even see it says completed. We also got a report from our escort team, and we can view that in Mission Manager here, where they sent us a report to say we successfully transferred the VIP. They even sent us an image attachment, which I can click and view. And there we can see our VIP safe and sound, and obviously happy after its brief stop for food. So the last thing we're going to do here is go to our mission info, and we can view some specifics for our mission here. Here we can see members, teams, maps, and materials for our entire mission, as well as some things like summary and when it was created. And then we can go to our members tab here and see all of the members of not only our mission, but all of our portal users as well. We add mission members from our portal users and vice versa. So if I wanted to add a portal user as my mission member, then I could just highlight them and click add. And maybe I don't want Avery on there actually, so same thing, highlight and click remove. Over on the Teams tab, this is where I set up those 3 teams that were important to my mission. And then we can also add mission members to those team members. So Andrew went off course on our escort team, so honestly, maybe I'll take him off of the escort team for now. I can just do that really quick. Next tab is our map tab. So this is going to look almost identical to our web map that we viewed in the portal. You see the same layers in there and the same kind of content that you see in the portal. This is basically a one-to-one view of that, but we can still do the same things like add content from our portal or from our organization. But from here, we can also change the extent of the map. We could add new bookmarks. We can switch the default base map. Anything that you're used to doing in a web map, you can do directly from here. Then the last 2 tabs we have are reports, which we just looked at, as well as our additional materials with our VIP picture. So for my after action, an important part of this is to actually look at our mission dashboard. So over here, you'll see on this button to open my mission dashboard or edit it. If you haven't created it yet, it'll actually say create mission dashboard. And with one button press, you create a whole dashboard that links your mission layers into this dashboard that you see right here. So I've done no tweaking to this. This comes straight out of the box, and you see that all of our mission layers are in here. I can do things like click on last known locations to see that one of my team members, John Fry, was out here in DC, or Julia Bell was out here in South Baltimore. I can even see their battery percentage as reported by mission responder. We can also see other things that were included in our mission, like mission reports, where we have that same attachment we were looking at before in the report, or mission tasks, where we can see the same symbology and the status that we set to complete it here. Then the last thing we have is our chat log. So this is every chat message and geo message that went on during our mission. We can see the time that it was sent, who sent it, and the content of that message. So this dashboard is fantastic for planning and seeing what's going on during the mission, but also great just to see all of the after action data and make sure that we're capturing everything that happened during this mission. The last thing we need to do is go back to set our status to complete instead of active. Setting the status of a mission to complete means that responders can no longer actually log into this mission. Even mission managers can't log into it. You'll see that the open mission button is now gone. And that doesn't mean that the GIS has disappeared. It simply means that it's all stored on our mission server. And since this mission is no longer active and it's completed, we don't need to be logging in and creating new data. We could change this back to active and get right back in there if we needed to. So I hope that this gave you a good look at not only how Mission Manager and Mission Responder work together, but also how an actual real-life mission could play out, and the power that one single solution can give you with all of this real-time GIS situational awareness. Great, gonna hand it back to you, Darren.
Thanks, Max. Great demo. Go. Yeah, so that's you went through and you hit all the high spots with Mission, and we've just released only just basically 2 versions of this, so we're on our way to improving lots more, and in the coming releases you'll see much more of those improvements. And so in Mission Manager, the command center operator basically can look forward to new measurement tools that will enable dynamic measurement of distances and areas in a map. We'll be adding more tools to conduct real-time analysis, such as creating a buffer around a specific location, or to help you find the nearest responder users. In our previous release, we introduced the ability to create tactical summary reports, as you've seen from what Max showed, but we're happy to announce that in ArcGIS 2021, our release in a couple of weeks from now, users will be able to create their own custom reports specific to their organization's needs, and then leverage those reports as templates in Mission. In terms of Responder, that's a mobile app that you saw that you use to communicate with your teammates. That has been upgraded and optimized for performance on ArcGIS Runtime SDK, allowing for us to do feature development on Esri's developer technology. Support has also been expanded for disconnected workflows. So for while you're in peer-to-peer mode, both iOS or Android devices will allow access to tasking, reporting, and storage of tracks and messages, and synchronize that back to the Mission server and enterprise. The Mission server, that's that component that optimizes the near real-time communication. We're evolving and expanding its scalability and performance. Now we're allowing more connections to clients. The upcoming release also provides a public API for automating and bulk processing, such as the creation of and managing of multiple missions related to unrelated resources. And there's also much more that's included in ArcGIS 2021, such as we're enabling support for secure web tier authentication for IWA, PKI, and SAML. And we've added cloud support for users can now deploy Mission on AWS as well as the Azure cloud environments. Post 10.9, we're looking at sensor integration such as live video, camera, and body sensors, additional radios for integrations and use in austere and disconnected environments, as well as a post-mission look in terms of after-action reporting and so on. Additionally, we'll be adding some more analytical tools for mission replay. And of course, we have quite a few resources for you to find out more about Mission. We have extensive documentation, blogs, and videos online. And of course, you can always connect with us. We have our LinkedIn group, other social media, or even by email. We're always happy to hear your comments on what works great, what's not so great, what can be improved. And with that, Max and I'd like to thank you for joining our virtual session on Mission, and we'll open the floor to questions.
All right, thank you so much for all of that great information. So we did have a couple of questions come in, so we'll spend the next few minutes answering those. First one is, can one search the chat for key terms and create a search button for the user?
So right now we can filter chats by the persons who are in the mission, but creating a button itself right now, we don't have plans for doing any custom work on Mission Manager, but we definitely look forward to hearing those requirements.
Fantastic. Next question is, would it be possible to use ArcGIS Mission in a mountain, for instance, in a fully disconnected environment, but still communicate peer-to-peer?
Let me explain a little bit what peer-to-peer is. And so for peer-to-peer, this is I've had a connection to the server so I can authenticate. The server knows who I am and we can communicate securely. If I go out into a mountain area, let's say I can communicate with peer-to-peer. Peer-to-peer means I can use a wireless or I can use my LTE or whatever your cell phone coverage is. Besides that, then you can use a mesh network or radio to be able to communicate. At this time, we're using GoTenna, but there are plans in the future to integrate additional radios in those environments where you need communication.
Perfect. And is it possible to link surveys forms?
So far, we don't have that on the roadmap in the next release, but we definitely are capturing information, and we've heard this a lot. When our users seeing this new software, they look at it through two lenses, one from the GIS lens and one from the operator lens. And so we found that most of the GIS folks want to integrate with our software, and this is huge. And our first step to bringing all of those to bear is moving it into ArcGIS Runtime and the Responder app. So a lot of the things that you see from ArcGIS Mission is going to begin to integrate.
Perfect. Is there a difference between iOS and Android ArcGIS Mission Responder apps?
It's just really the device, but all the functionalities remain the same.
Excellent. Can I bring in other feature services from the web map into Mission Manager that are being used in other web maps or web apps?
You absolutely can. And with 10.9 release, we're adding authenticated services. So now you'll be able to bring all of those. And the key thing about this is that we want to use your organizational data. So if you have websites that you're already using, what Mission does, it creates a duplicate of that for you to use in that mission. All your stuff remains the same for your organization, but really you're looking at context. So whatever you're using for your organization, to bring that to bear and using a mission, you can bring it in.
Excellent. Are there any plans for geofencing to trigger alarms when off route?
We've heard this a lot from customers, so we're also looking into bringing in geofences in the future.
Can I use the apps to send PDF documents from the Ops Center to my teams in the field?
You absolutely can. And Max showed a little bit about this. So this is where the additional documents come in. So if I did have a PDF, maybe an SOP or maybe a floor plan that I wanted to update and send out into the field, I can do that at the start of the mission. Or if some new information came in, maybe there was a suspect with a picture that I needed to send, I could add that into the mission. And on your mobile device, you'll get a notification saying, hey, there's been an update.
Excellent. Can routes within Mission be updated in real time in order to respond to external events?
The routes within Mission, so I would have to clarify that. So Max did a route, and that was for part of the mission. So they're in the mission planning, they're going to follow this track. And then when he overlaid the track movements of everyone around them, you could see if they're following that track. Mission does not at this time do routing per se, but you can track each team member and where they're going.
Yeah, so since that was just GIS, right? We can include stuff though, like Darren, like live feeds of things, right? So if we updated that GIS on our portal or enterprise, then we should see that reflect in our web map as well. So.
Excellent. And boy, these questions are coming in. So thanks, everyone. A few more. If I come to the scene late that was added to the mission after it has started, can I get a data feed of all the chat that has occurred before I arrive?
I think at this point, you'll just get what you are added to at that point when you jump in. When I log into the mission, if I just add you to the mission, you're just going to see your chats from that point on. But you can come in and find all the mission details. So at the beginning, when you set up a mission, you'll add the description, you'll add all the information that someone needs to get for that mission. So you'll see all your team members, you'll get the documentation that you need to download onto your device. And from that point on, you will be able to communicate with your team.
Excellent. Will Mission be compatible with CAC PKI authentication in the future?
Yeah, so we've added PKI for the next release, and definitely we keep hearing different authentication patterns. We're doing multiple pilots right now, working with many different organizations, and everybody has their own environment. Everybody has their own architecture. So as we hear more and more, we'll be able to integrate that for our customers.
Perfect. This question, so we're being asked if you can go into more detail on how the functionality fluctuates as a user might go in and out of a connected service.
Well, this is going offline. So I can give a very easy example. and it's just at home, right? So we're all at home now. We're all on our wireless devices, our wireless network at home. But as I hit the garage and I go outside, there's a little lull just because it's connecting from my wireless to my phone network. So I suspect that that would be the same every time you transition. It just depends on how where that sweet spot is for the network to transition from one to the next.
Excellent. So this is the last question, and after this, we'll let everyone go. If you have any other questions after this, you will receive a survey after this session. It will have our email addresses or other ways to contact us. So if something pops in your head later, we're always here to answer those questions. So, final question for this session is, how many mission responder app connections can the mission server support?
We have in-house at least 200 at this time, but what I would like to say about that is that we implemented Mission with span of control in mind, with the NIMS process. So if I have one mission manager, I can manage 8 based on NIMS, or I can manage 100. Right. So the mission server, all it does is handle the communications between the manager and the responder. So we're definitely bringing out some more documentation and a max for each one.
All right, and that announcement brought in more questions. So we'll do 2 more and then we'll let everyone go. Sorry. So would
Great.
it be possible to use ArcGIS Mission with the API Python?
I think we can. There is some development work we're doing right now with the server, as I mentioned, to be able to create scripts to build out multiple missions. So I could set up my teams, I could set up the documentation and have basically 50 missions up and running. We're definitely exploring more and more capabilities as we just introduced that developer option.
Excellent. And what is the lowest user type required by a field worker to access the reporter?
So for the mission manager, you will need a creator because you're creating content. For a responder, you'll need an editor or above.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for all of these great questions and for joining us today. We do have more webinars in this national government series, so we invite you to go back to our webinar page and sign up for others that might be of interest to you. Thank you, Max and Darren, for all the great information, and you guys will all receive an email soon with the link to the video. So thanks for joining us.
Awesome. Have a great
Thank you,
day.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.